History tells us civilization is the result of steady progress. But across the world, there are ruins that don't fit the story. Cities too advanced, knowledge too precise, and histories that quietly disappeared. What if civilization didn't begin where we were told? When archaeologists study ancient sites, they don't see a clean, continuous timeline of progress. They see interruptions, periods where development seems to pause or jump forward. In several parts of the world, civilizations appear suddenly in the archaeological record. There are no clear transitional phases, no gradual steps from simple to complex. Instead, these societies emerge already possessing advanced architecture, organized cities, and structured social systems. According to the official timeline, this shouldn't be possible. Progress is supposed to be slow, but the evidence suggests something else. It doesn't look like discovery, it looks like rediscovery. History only survives if it's recorded. And recorded knowledge is fragile. Over centuries, countless libraries were destroyed. Scrolls were burned. Archives were abandoned or deliberately erased. Some losses happened during war. Others through neglect when cultures collapsed and writing systems disappeared. But not all destruction was random. Certain texts vanish everywhere they appear, leaving no copies, no references, and no surviving translations. Knowledge doesn't disappear like that by accident, especially when it challenges what we think we know about the past. Ancient maps raise uncomfortable questions. They show cities that no longer exist, regions once described as powerful kingdoms, later recorded as empty land. Some maps display a level of geographic accuracy historians say should not have been possible at the time. Coastlines appear precise. Distances seem calculated, not guessed. Terrain is mapped with surprising detail. This kind of knowledge usually requires advanced surveying tools that, according to history, didn't exist yet. Which leaves one question: who mapped the world before history says anyone could? Then there are the cities themselves. Massive stone structures built with extraordinary precision. Individual blocks weigh several tons, yet they are cut and fitted so tightly that even modern tools struggle to replicate the results. There is no clear evidence of advanced machinery, no detailed construction records, no surviving explanations. Yet these cities were clearly planned, engineered, and constructed by highly skilled builders. This level of sophistication requires knowledge, not guesswork. And this level of precision appears in more than one place. What makes these cities even more puzzling is how they were built. There is little evidence of advanced machinery. No metal tools capable of this precision, no traces of industrial processes. And yet the stonework shows uniformity, accuracy, and repeatability. These are not random results. They are signs of technique. The builders understood materials, stress points, weight, distribution. This wasn't trial and error. It was applied knowledge, knowledge that appears without an obvious origin. As more sites are studied, a pattern begins to form. Similar construction techniques appear across continents. These cultures were separated by oceans, different languages, different beliefs, yet the stonework shares striking similarities. The same precision, the same methods. According to mainstream history, these societies had no contact with one another. And yet, the evidence suggests shared knowledge, or a shared source. Some of these sites belong to civilizations we cannot clearly name. There are no surviving written languages, no definitive records of who built them. Entire societies reduced to anonymous ruins. Without names, it becomes easy to dismiss them, to label them as primitive, or to merge them into later cultures. But anonymity doesn't mean insignificance. Sometimes losing a name is part of being erased. In many locations, the damage follows a pattern. Faces removed from statues, names carefully chiseled away from inscriptions. This isn't the result of weather or time, it's targeted. When conquerors wanted to erase a civilization, they didn't destroy everything. They removed identity. Without names or symbols, memory fades quickly. And erasing memory is often more powerful than destroying cities. Knowledge changes power. Those who control it shape society. A civilization with advanced understanding of engineering, astronomy, or nature challenges those who rule by authority alone. Throughout history, new knowledge has often been treated as a threat, not because it is dangerous, but because it is uncontrollable. Erasing the source becomes easier than competing with it. And once knowledge is gone, rewriting history becomes simple. If these civilizations were truly as advanced as the evidence suggests, then one question becomes unavoidable. How did they collapse? In some regions, the geological record offers clues. Flood layers buried beneath cities, ash from ancient volcanic eruptions, signs of prolonged drought. Environmental disasters have ended societies before, even complex ones. But collapse is not the same as disappearance. When modern cities face disaster, records remain, names survive. Stories are preserved. Here, something different happened. The physical destruction may explain abandoned cities, but it does not explain why their memory vanished with them. Destruction can end a civilization, but only people can erase it. When civilizations fall, they rarely vanish overnight. People survive. Survivors carry fragments of the past, stories, customs, symbols, passed down through generations. But oral history is fragile. Each retelling changes slightly. Each generation forgets a little more. When a written language disappears, memory begins to dissolve. And when survivors are absorbed into new cultures, their past becomes secondary. Over time, their identity fades, not through violence, but through silence. And silence is the most effective form of erasure. History favors order, clear beginnings, clear endings. Those who rise to power organize the past to justify the present. Complex civilizations that challenge linear progress are inconvenient. They complicate the story, so they are simplified, reclassified, or quietly excluded. Over time, repetition turns interpretation into accepted truth, not because it is proven, but because it is familiar. And familiar stories are rarely questioned. Even today, discoveries continue to challenge established timelines. Unexpected engineering, advanced alignments, construction methods that raise new questions. But modern archaeology works within frameworks, timelines, models, assumptions built over decades. When a discovery doesn't fit, it is labeled an anomaly. An exception is easier to manage than a contradiction. And contradictions demand uncomfortable revisions, especially when they suggest we misunderstood the past. When viewed individually, each site can be explained away. A coincidence, a mystery, an exception. But when viewed together, a pattern emerges. Advanced construction, sudden collapse, systematic loss of records, across continents, across thousands of years. This is not randomness, it is repetition. And repetition suggests structure, not chance. Which means this story may not be finished. When these civilizations disappeared, more was lost than cities and monuments. Entire systems of knowledge vanished. Knowledge of materials, of construction, of observing the natural world. Some structures aligned precisely with the stars, others with seasonal cycles and geographic features. These were not symbolic choices. They were practical, functional, and deliberate. Understanding them requires patience and humility, because progress does not always move forward. Sometimes knowledge moves in circles. We often assume our civilization is permanent, too advanced to fail, but history offers a quieter lesson. Advanced societies have collapsed before, not because they lacked intelligence, but because they underestimated fragility. Technology does not guarantee continuity. Knowledge must be preserved. Memory must be protected. And forgetting may be our greatest vulnerability. These ruins are more than remains of the past. They are warnings, not warnings of catastrophe, but of neglect. Civilizations rarely fall all at once. They fade, they fragment. First knowledge is lost, then meaning, finally, memory. And once memory is gone, rebuilding becomes impossible. Some civilizations were not simply lost to time. They were forgotten by it, or more accurately, forgotten by those who came after. History is not a fixed record. It is a conversation between the past and the present. And every generation decides what it chooses to remember. That decision is being made right now. The greatest mystery of history is not what we don't know. It's what we stopped asking about. Between the lines of our past are stories still waiting to be understood. Not to rewrite history, but to complete it. If you want to explore more stories hidden in the past, consider subscribing. Stay curious, because some truths don't disappear, they wait to be rediscovered.